Multiplication table 500. 500 times 1 equals 500. 500 times 2 equals 1000. 500 times 3 equals 1500. 500 times 4 equals 2000. 500 times 5 equals 2500. 500 times 6 equals 3000. 500 times 7 equals 3500. 500 times 8 equals 4000. 500 times 9 equals 4500. 500 times 10 equals 5000. 500 times 11 equals 5500. 500 times 12 equals 6000. 500 times 13 equals 6500. 500 times 14 equals 7000. 500 times 15 equals 7500. 500 times 16 equals 8000. 500 times 17 equals 8500. 500 times 18 equals 9000. 500 times 19 equals 9500. 500 times 20 equals 10,000. 500 times 21 equals 10,500. 500 times 22 equals 11,000. 500 times 23 equals 11,500. 500 times 24 equals 12,000. 500 times 25 equals 12,500. 500 times 26 equals 13,000. 500 times 27 equals 13,500. 500 times 28 equals 14,000. 500 times 29 equals 14,500. 500 times 30 equals 15,000. 500 times 31 equals 15,500. 500 times 32 equals 16,000. 500 times 33 equals 16,500. 500 times 34 equals 17,000. 500 times 35 equals 17,500. 500 times 36 equals 18,000. 500 times 37 equals 18,500. 500 times 38 equals 19,000. 500 times 39 equals 19,500. 500 times 40 equals 20,000. 500 times 41 equals 20,500. 500 times 42 equals 21,000. 500 times 43 equals 21,500. 500 times 44 equals 22,000. 500 times 45 equals 22,500. 500 times 46 equals 23,000. 500 times 47 equals 23,500. 500 times 48 equals 24,000. 500 times 49 equals 24,500. 500 times 50 equals 25,000. 500 times 51 equals 25,500. 500 times 52 equals 26,000. 500 times 53 equals 26,500. 500 times 54 equals 27,000. 500 times 55 equals 27,500. 500 times 56 equals 28,000. 500 times 57 equals 28,500. 500 times 58 equals 29,000. 500 times 59 equals 29,500. 500 times 60 equals 30,000. 500 times 61 equals 30,500. 500 times 62 equals 31,000. 500 times 63 equals 31,500. 500 times 64 equals 32,000. 500 times 65 equals 32,500. 500 times 66 equals 33,000. 500 times 67 equals 33,500. 500 times 68 equals 34,000. 500 times 69 equals 34,500. 500 times 70 equals 35,000. 500 times 71 equals 35,500. 500 times 72 equals 36,000. 500 times 73 equals 36,500. 500 times 74 equals 37,000. 500 times 75 equals 37,500. 500 times 76 equals 38,000. 500 times 77 equals 38,500. 500 times 78 equals 39,000. 500 times 79 equals 39,500. 500 times 80 equals 40,000. 500 times 81 equals 40,500. 500 times 82 equals 41,000. 500 times 83 equals 41,500. 500 times 84 equals 42,000. 500 times 85 equals 42,500. 500 times 86 equals 43,000. 500 times 87 equals 43,500. 500 times 88 equals 44,000. 500 times 89 equals 44,500. 500 times 90 equals 45,000. 500 times 91 equals 45,500. 500 times 92 equals 46,000. 500 times 93 equals 46,500. 500 times 94 equals 47,000. 500 times 95 equals 47,500. 500 times 96 equals 48,000. 500 times 97 equals 48,500. 500 times 98 equals 49,000. 500 times 99 equals 49,500. 500 times 100 equals 50,000.